guys? Welcome to World Without Borders, episode 17. It's just a pleasure to have you all. I am Susie, I'll be your host, and with my wonderful friends, Megan and Renata. Please, can you go ahead and present yourself?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Join us, please. I'm Megan, based in Cape Town, South Africa, and looking forward to tonight's discussion.
And I am Renata Anderson, and I am originally from Brazil and live in Portland, Oregon, in the US.
Thank you, guys. And I'm Susie, and I am in Kentucky, living in Kentucky, but I'm from Cameroon. So, the topic of today, guys, will be a very important topic. Woman at the forefront of change. That only that topic makes my heart beat faster because I know women in general are the beginning of everything. She gives birth, she brings life. It all starts with the woman. And so this topic will be a very interesting topic. And we always want to have your own point of view, guys. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, and always leave your point of view in the chat. We would love to get back to you. And we saw all the other comments, guys, that you left. Thank you so much for your comments. And promise you we'll talk about those comments later. And yes, guys, women at the forefront of change. That's the beginning. So I want to ask you questions, some question, guys. When you hear this topic, like what is the first thing that pops up in your mind?
Right where we belong.
Exactly. Exactly. I love that. And what about you, Renata? That one word that's like women at the forefront of change.
Power, like.
Oh, yes, power. Definitely. For me, a woman, it all starts from the real beginning, Adam and Eve. It all starts there. And the woman, the one that had to bring life on earth through a woman. So life started from there. And for
How
me,
powerful is that? Wow. Yeah.
it is powerful. And even if we go back to like what the Bible says when the woman was created, I don't want to talk about religion yet, but I like to talk about facts that I know. According to the Bible, the woman is named as a helper. Nobody else was named as helper except the woman. So when we talk about the woman at the forefront of everything, the only help you need, women are there to help. So we are going to talk more about this topic. One thing we talk about, we are focusing about the woman's impact in general in the environment. My personal point of view is that women are the beginning of everything. Why? You give birth to the child. You're the one that brings up your children. It depends on you if they turn to be what they turn to be. All this focus on the woman. So what point of view do you have about that?
Renata, you want to jump in there?
I think I need to think a little bit more.
Awesome. Okay, I'll jump in there. So for me, when I think of that, I'm one of those people that you can be at the forefront of everything and anything you want to be as long as you handle it. Right? That's me. Again, I don't care if it's a male or a female. If you can handle it, if you can do the job, you be there. Right? For me, though, it's also about acknowledging the person who is there at the forefront. So if they are doing it properly and they are doing what they need to be doing in that space, acknowledge them. For me, I don't get this whole power play thing. I don't, because I believe there's a place for everyone in any situation. And so, yes, I'm a very independent woman. And yes, I am driving change through what I do. And yes, I believe that anybody can do that. But I think it's really important for people to work and maintain being at the forefront of change. So fully supportive of women right there in that spot. But likewise, anyone can get that spot, guys. Just make it work.
And also
That's
on the
right.
point of view on what you said, which is perfect. Sorry, did I cut you?
No problem. Go ahead.
Okay, so I also understand the point of view of where you come from, but as women, we go through a lot more we go through a lot more than a man can go through. I can say, thinking about that, I'm talking about birth, not only birth. We go through our menstrual cycle, we go through all these hormonal change in the month, in the year, in the seasons, and at this that and we can we are still required to be at that space of excellence. Societal expectation that are expecting us to be fit, look good, still have that perfect job, still have that perfect marriage with those perfect children, still have that, be that woman,
Yes.
that perfect wife, which is really unexpected. How can I say? Expect the societal expectation are really unreal. And so that is what I want us to address, like today, on women being
Yes.
at the forefront. And for me, being at the forefront doesn't mean being the face people see, being the first person people see. No, it means being the one behind the mechanism of making things work. Because
Yes.
as women, as a helper, that's what we do. We are at the back, making everything really work
Happen.
the way they have to
Yes.
work. So my question was like, how can we address societal expectation when it comes to women? And I want us to talk about more about women in the workforce.
Hmm. Well, first of all, I think wow, that's a lot of times in my life that I realized that I was like, wow, I don't understand what is going on. I remember once I was in my master's and a professor, she came and she said, "You're a feminist, Renata." I was like, am I? I never thought about that. And I think that was very natural for me to be a feminist since I was a child, I think. And I remember when I was like 8, 9 years old, I told my father, I said, I want to be an astronaut. And he
Yes.
said, Renata, you are a Brazilian and woman. You're just men from Russia and United States
Wow.
go to be an astronaut. And I was so disappointed. I was like, oh, then I have nothing to do because I am a woman. I'm not going to change that. And I am Brazilian. I cannot change that either. So, oh my God, I was so
Wow.
like, this is so unfair. And and I'm glad I'm not an astronaut today because I love the life I have. But I think that so much changed in this. Now I'm 51 and I was 8. And I think we we did a great job during the last few decades. And I'm very proud to see all the improvement and raising voices. And so today we have in not as much as we want, but we have women in presidents of and CEOs and biggest researchers. So
Yes.
many amazing women around the world. So I think we, as I said, we are not where we want to be, but we already did a lot of things that just show up that we are capable. We can do
Yes.
it. Yeah,
For sure.
And
yeah.
also on that note, really, we are capable and we can do it. But even though we motivate ourselves to that position, I want to include to that, what about the societal expectation? Because although we want to be that big CEO, we want to be that great woman, there is a lot of things against that. Like the society doesn't expect you, especially if you're from a society where a woman is supposed to be behind a man. We know a
Mhm.
lot of societies like that, and there are a lot of society where a woman is brought up to be a wife and a mother only and nothing else.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So what is your perspective about that system?
Woo! Do I have time?
You do, you can start somewhere.
Like, nope.
It's a deep question, huh, Megan?
It's just a nope from me. Listen, I grew up in a space, luckily for me, where I wasn't told many times by people of great influence in my life, that I couldn't do anything I wanted. So my parents never told me that. My closest relatives, I would hear it from an odd teacher or a stranger here, and I didn't really listen to that. So I don't have a lot of the direct, sort of honing in to a female or feminine role that was pushed on me. However, there was this unspoken thing all around, all the time. And not because people were saying it to you. I think it was more, like you say, it was in the background, societal. It was an expectation rather than an instruction happening, right? So you could feel it. You could see it from the way people reacted from certain things. I was a tomboy too, so that obviously didn't help. But I was just one of those kids that my parents gave me lots of freedom in that space to explore, and they were open-minded. And that's how I ended up being, I think, pretty open-minded. And I work with kids, and I've worked previously with groups that are really, really undermined in the sense of you are not capable. You can't do that. You, like Susie was told, Renata was told, you from Brazil and you female. So like, what options do I have then, So the oppression definitely is there. And for me, it's a really sad reality that not only in this day and age, but at any level, at any age or any era, that somebody gets told, you are not capable, you're not able to do that because we don't think you can do it. And I think that is probably part of the reason that I enjoyed my career as much as I did over the years, my very varied career. I worked on marine research vessels, and very often I was one of 2 females, 3 females on a crew of 40 or 50 people, right? And I mean, we all know how that can go. So I was always in situations with the heavy tech industry and the type of industries I worked in for many years, where women were meant to be in the shadows, often, or that was the thinking. But I think that we pulled through pretty well. The women I know and the ones from that from the different industries that I worked with, they were phenomenal, and they still are, because some of the best technical people I worked with were female. But those very educated, clued up, and natural technical people were often chased away from clients, labs, wine farms, whatever the case, wherever we worked. I was literally told at 3:00 in the morning, when I went out for an emergency call to a client because their equipment was failing. 2 of us went through, and it was the technical person in charge of that line of instruments, and I was the sales manager. We got told at 3:00 in the morning, because it was an emergency, we went out, we were told, we don't want you here. We want a guy that knows what he's doing. And we just went, right, you stuck with us, because guess what? We run the product line. This is us. You bought the product, so you stuck with us. We can leave, but if you call in tomorrow morning, you're going to get the same 2 people. And can I tell you the best thing about it? They had not switched on their power source. So they hadn't even switched on the machine properly. And that was the problem. So there was this very frantic male, twice our size, swearing at us, telling us to get off his property, and then he doesn't know how to switch his machine on. And that was what they called us out for. So I believe in karma, guys. I believe in karma, and I love it when she shows up on time. So that's just it.
Yes, I really love the point you brought forward. That tells us that women are really at the forefront. I will tell my personal story that I encountered is that my mother was the one that pushed me forward in all my leadership endeavors. She told me, you can do it. You see that dream of you being that great leader, you being that person that, because I always told her that the plane will be my taxi. This is what I'm meant to be great. And she was like, "You're my baby. I know you're meant to be great. You can do it. If you want
Yeah.
to fly to the US, fly to the US. I have your back." And so that's a random decision I took, and I took the flight to the US. And she was like, I have the back of my baby, whatever she wants to do, Because of that mentality, I'm not afraid of anything. It's like if
Yeah.
I want to go to Australia now,
Yeah.
we're taking the plane to Australia, sorry. With
Yeah.
just like two luggages, I have no problem. Like I am very adventurous just because my mother, that woman that was at the forefront,
Yes.
did what did the best and put it in her child and said, okay, if I cannot be that woman influential that I
Yes.
want to be, my child is gonna be. I don't care if she's a woman, a man, a male. If I don't care if she wants to be that, I will sustain her till the very end. So that is why the topic women at the forefront of change is very crucial. We live, like where I come from, I live from society where women are brought up to be wife and mothers, nothing else.
Yeah.
So you are not brought up to go and do long schools to school for like go for your masters. Then if for you're doing PhD, and if you do all that and you don't have children or you're not married, you're still not happy. According to society, you're very depressed and you need help
Yeah.
because of those two things. And so when you have a kind of woman like this, like my mom, many other wonderful women or my mentors that come in your life and tell you, okay, it starts with you. I've seen the marriages, the people that are married and having children, most of them are depressed, homeless, hopeless
Yes.
because of what that joy. They don't even know who they are. And now they have
Yes.
to bring up new individuals, people that don't also know who they are.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And they bring and back home is like, I don't know. My mother was a little bit educated. Thank God. My father was very educated. Thank God, because they did their best on the children. But the mindset was like the men are trained to have go out and have money. That
Yeah.
not that trained to be working machines.
Yeah.
So they don't have time to enjoy the moment. And
Mm.
the women are trained to be cleaners and housewives. That's it. And so because of that mentality, if you don't have like a mother, I will always hinge on mothers because they are the one that stay home with you, educate you. Like my mother didn't know English, but I went to an English school. She didn't know English. She said, I don't know English, but I want my daughter to go to an English school. Even if it turns to be that I have to pay extra classes because I can teach her. I don't barely know how to say good morning and good evening in English. I speak French and that's it, but I see a future in this child, like since she was born. And I'm like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna put her to an anglophone school and we are gonna progress like that. So she was at the forefront. She was what I am now. It stands to the woman that believed in me. So as mothers, the rules they have in your life is all like I think women are very powerful whenever they discover what their purpose is. And sometimes you're like, even if I miss my purpose, it's not about investing it in my children. What about the neighbors? What about the other people? There are some people you speak to, you can change their whole life perspective. There are some people that don't have the privilege that most of us had to have parents that are actually educated, that actually honors the child and says, okay, my baby, I'll give her the opportunity she needs. She will do the education she wants. Even you're a girl and you want to do computer science, because I did computer science. So computers as a girl is not a thing that
Yeah.
all men in the industry, and you see a girl doing computer science. And my mother was like, okay, if you want to do computer science, like my father, because he did computer science, she's like, go and do computer science. And they were like, no, you need to do banking. You're a woman. You need to be classy. You don't have to be behind the computer coding. I was like, but I like being behind the computer coding.
Yeah.
It doesn't match your caliber. You cannot be this beautiful and coding. It doesn't match. Who will want to marry you? I'm like, no problem. I'll be behind the computer. I'll be coding. Maybe one of the people behind the computer too will want to marry me. And we'll
There
go
we go.
that perspective, and that freedom is, my thought is, how can we raise awareness? I want us to talk about that, like
Yeah.
raising awareness amongst women, to tell them that we have the ability to do it. You can do it, no matter if your family is, you say my family is poor, they cannot give me the education. No, you don't only need your family for education. We have
Mhm.
internet. We have so many other ways to learn this generation, that if you are not educated, it will be a problem.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Do you know what
for
I mean?
sure.
So what advice can we give to on edification, edifying women around the world in general, about their power?
Wow.
I resonate so much with you, Susie, when you talk about your mother, because I think that I couldn't be who I am today without my mother,
Yeah.
because she was the one that gave me, oh my God, so many opportunities, and she was always cheerleading, and so it's amazing because she always said, Renata, humans are more smart and intelligent than any guys. So go for it. And this pressure of the society that I understand, a lot of friends of mine, they talk about that. I never had that. I think because of my mom,
Yeah.
she was always like, do whatever you want. And every time I complain about something, she was like, Renata, focus on your goal. That's it. Don't let people. They are going to say anyway, so you don't listen.
Yes. Yes.
And I think that was very important for me to understand. And as you said, that your mom put you in a English school, even without knowing English. My mom did the same with the
Mhm.
languages with me, like go learn. And I remember when I have the offer to work with in Amazon with the indigenous communities, they never been in Amazon before. And my mom, she just looked at me and she said, I have no idea what are you going to learn that, but it's going to be important for your life. So
There we
go.
go. Oh,
And
lovely.
she said, like, for sure, you are going to learn a lot. And I think this kind of, and it was, my mom used to have like some ideas, like very, we say here in the US, very like
Mhm.
lives in gnomos, duendes, and things like that. And she was like, "Oh, you pay attention in the forest because I heard there are some people that lives inside the earth and blah blah blah." I was like, "Mom, can you not be a normal mom and be worried about snakes and things like that?" Because she had
Ah,
that was the other part, but that was funny. But I totally agree with you. And talking about computer, I have a brother who is 1 year younger than me, and he was the one that had computer first, because he was a boy, and
yeah.
computers are things for the boys. And I
Yeah.
think, I hope today this mentality changed, because yeah, why not?
I
Yeah.
think it's changing bit by bit depending on the school, because in my school we were like 100, and at least 10 of us were female and all the rest were male. But we aced it as usual. We're on top.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I think where I see this going, Susie, in terms of just educating, getting that change, that swing to keep happening, I think it's really important. One, I feel role models is it's a really important part of the process, having a role model in place. And so for all of us, our moms, parents were there, not necessarily knowing what we were getting into, but being open minded enough to allow us to explore that, right? And that is an important part of the equation, I think. Secondly, being able to role model. So, my parents, my mom was studying to become a teacher when we were much younger. So we knew that education was important. It was, we could see my dad reading all the time, my mom reading all the time. They would sit and watch environmental programs with us on TV, you know. So we grew up in that environment where education and knowledge was important, and that you absorb. That's not something you have to be told if you grew up in it. It just becomes part of you. So I think having that role model in place and having that open mind, from a perspective of a parent that is not going to put blinkers on your child and say, you are a girl, you are a boy, and that's where you need to focus. I think that if we are wanting to create that space for every person to be holistically happy and operating at their best, their personal best, in their best space, let them go and find that. I think that's what's important. That's what I do in my space. I love helping the kids find that really comfortable spot that is just theirs. Recognizing who they are, what they bring to the table, what their strengths are, being able to ignore the weaknesses because it's actually not something that needs to be fixed, you know, before you can do life. So I think those are the important things. The fact that we need to make sure that we are creating the environment for the change to continue happening or for it to accelerate. Because at this point in time, I'm a little nervous about what's going on in terms of our youth and, you know, where we find ourselves in that space. But it's a clear link to a lack of role models. All of the things that's happening at the moment, there's a clear disconnect between our young kids and our wiser older generation that actually kept our kids towing the line, the right line, the discipline line, and the, you know, the mindset in the right place. I think there's a real disconnect there. So that's what we need, in my opinion.
Yeah, totally agree with you. And girls, any last word we can say for like to empower more women to do same, mothers to empower those that are not mothers to, what last word can we tell them to be able to keep empowering the women around them?
I think the most important thing is to understand that we have options, you know, and we can choose our options. And I think, like, for example, I don't have any kids, and so I don't think to be a woman and to be happy as a woman, I need to have kids. But some women think so, and it's okay. It's completely okay. I think we have to respect this individuality also. And if some women want to work and be a CEO or do PhD research or be a president of a country, okay, go for it. And if someone else say, no, I just want to be at home and take care of my kids, there is nothing wrong about that either. I think I understand that we have possibilities. I think it's key in this moment. And don't
Yeah.
blame and don't put fingers like, oh, society is expecting this from me. Everybody is worried about their own life. It's so
Yes.
don't listen to that too much.
Yeah.
I think this is my advice for women that are listening to us. Like, do what you love. I think this is the most important.
Exactly.
Wow.
Love that. Love that. Renata, I want to add to that because my last word would have been it starts with you, right? Along with those rights to enjoy life and do what you like, there comes a responsibility. But if you know who you are and you're grounded within yourself and you are happy within yourself, that's what you pass on to others. And so it starts with you and you taking the responsibility to discover who you are.
I love it. You said it perfect, guys. It starts with you and no one else. Thank you so much for being in this wonderful episode. Please like, share, subscribe, and make sure you comment. to tell us your point of view and your last word too to empower the women. Thank you so much. Have a nice day, guys.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
We're crossing oceans, crossing skies, lifting each other as we rise. No more limits, no more walls. Together we answer the world's calls. World without borders, we are free, telling the stories of humanity. No more divide, we stand as one. Together, together, our journey's begun.